The time is now. The time is now. The time is now. I'm Trent, and this is Vision Preparedness. The time is now. The time is now. Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody's had an amazing day. Welcome. Hope everybody's having a great Tuesday. Yes, indeed. Yes. Who we got coming in here? We got a whole bunch of folks in here. I hope everybody has had a great day. Sister Marie's Kitchen, welcome. My man, Ghost Lincoln, welcome in, bruh. Hope you had a great day. Hope your day is good. Loving life. Family. Good to see you as well. KP in the house. Welcome. Frank Short. Yes, sir. My day was good and blessed, and I hope everything is doing well for you. Charmaine Montgomery, welcome, and hello to you too. Yes, indeed. Prepper Chicken, Texas. Hey. Good to see you. One of my amazing moderators, Fed Up American, is in the building. Good to see you, bruh. Hope you had a great day. Yes, sir. The Prepared Irishman. Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you. Martika, welcome. Good to see you. Whiteside Tactical Solutions, welcome in. The Virginia Bushcrafter, good to see you, bruh. Good to see you. Carbon Q is in the building. Good to see you. Where you been? I know you've been busy. I know you got things going on and doing your thing. It is good to see you tonight. Thank you so much for showing up. Psalms 146, Home and Garden, Geek Squad Raid. Welcome. I see you. Thank you for coming in, sis. Thank you for coming in. Wellness with Frugal Mama. Welcome. Ghost Lincoln, thank you. We'll talk about that in a moment. And thank you as well. Who else we got in the building? Thank you, Psalms 146, for the 5x5. Absolutely. VP's Chica. That would be the COO right there. Driving and listening. Drive safely, and I'll see you when I see you. Be careful. Thank you. Yes, indeed. Who else we got in the building? In the Prepper Book Club. Good to see you, bruh. I hope you are doing well. There's my brother, Motivation from the Weightlifting Geek. This is going to be an awesome subject. Good to see you, my brah, and thank you for stopping in. She is Sunshine. Good to see you, sis. Hope everything is well. The Prepared Believer. Regional Sky Girl. There you go. Just using my other YouTube name. Praying that everyone is well. I hope you are doing well wherever you may be in this amazing country. Please stay safe wherever you are, and I hope you're having a great day. Happy Mac in the building. Good to see you as well. Joe Morgan, welcome in. welcome in my brother from another mother, Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. He said, I'm kind of prepared. Well, if you're not prepared, brah, then I am nowhere close to being kind of prepared. Good to see you as well. Fed Up American, thank you, my brother. I appreciate the donation. And as y'all know, all donations go back into the channel, Bug Out Weekend, other special events, and great stuff for you guys. That amazing intro that y'all saw, that was our new intro that my man Steve Sessions created with footage, and some of the folks in the footage you should recognize. But thank you, Fed Up American. We appreciate you always, bruh. Coach Mary Ma in the building. Family. Folks, if you have not checked out Coach Mary Ma, she had an amazing topic today, as always. Thank you so much for allowing me to share with you, Coach Mary Ma, and please continue doing what you're doing because you are an icon in these YouTube streets, and I truly appreciate everything you do. Whiteside Tactical says, Vision Preparedness, that intro got me hyped. I'm ready to go out and train. There you go, bruh. That's the goal of it. That is the goal. For sure. Who else we got in the building? JJ, welcome in. Welcome in. Doing well today. Hope you're having a great day as well. Devil Dog, hoorah. Good to see you, my brother. Thank you for stopping in. We appreciate you. So, for all the content creators in the chat, you know how it goes. If you type the word vision, it will drop links. Folks, there are amazing content creators in the chat. Check them out. If you haven't, go check out some of their videos. Leave a like, leave a comment. You can even tell them I sent you over there. If you like what they're doing, subscribe to their channel, folks. That's how we all grow. We all grow together. Uh-oh. My brother is sick as a dog. Oh, well, Hudson, I hope you get better soon, bruh. I will definitely be praying for you because you have things to do. And being sick is not one of them. So please take care of yourself and take care soon. My man, Vision or Dan H, you need what t-shirt? The t-shirt I have. Oh, the Punisher with the American flag on it. Yeah, that wasn't planned, but it turned out to be pretty freaking awesome. So yes. Loving Life says we should all be prepared to love one another. Absolutely. That's the only way we're going to get through this mayhemic mess that's going on in the world, folks. Who else we got in the building? Jammer WV. Hello, good evening. I hope you are doing well. Hope you're doing well. Folks, coffee. There it is. That's what I was looking for. Then again, hi, everyone. I'm here. Just a little late. You're never late, coffee. You're always on time when you show up. Absolutely. Coffee first, then speak. Good to see you. I hope you're having a great day today, too. Jason in VA, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. And for everybody that I may have missed, welcome in and thank you for being here. I appreciate all of y'all. We have got an amazing guest on tonight. A lot of y'all have seen him in the chat. If you were at the Bug Out Weekend, you actually met him in person. And this is my brother from another mother too. He is an amazing guy. He is a wealth of information, or as I normally say, a plethora of information. And with that, I am not going to beleaguer, maybe. I'm not going to wait any longer. Folks, tonight, the topic we're talking about, prepping on a budget and essentials. I'm going to bring on my man, my brother, my friend, Mr. Dan H. Good to see you, Dan. How you doing this evening?
Can you?
I'm doing well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And hope you had a great day today. From what it sounds like, it was very busy.
Oh, yeah.
And Loving Life said, "Bring it, Dan H. Bring it." So there you go. Um, Hudson Valley said, "Just went back to watch the intro. Fire." Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that, Hudson Valley. That in itself was created by my guy, Steve Sessions from Sessions Creatives. And he's Creative Sessions with Steve making me step up my game. We lost Dan, but that's okay. He'll be back. But yes, that was created by Steve, and we had a great time doing it. Even Cole got into the action on that one, but that's how it works. And I think Dan is back. There he is. Welcome back, Dan.
How you doing?
Fed Up American said, "I just got finished picking green beans, about 10 pounds for 2 8-foot rows of beans." There you go, Fed Up American. That's what we got to do. With that, Dan, welcome in, my Renaissance grandma, listening from the trees while working. There you go. Constitutional Carpenter, welcome in, bruh. So, Dan, introduce yourself. Give the folks a little bit about you, and then we'll carry on.
All right, I'm Dan H. I'm from Massachusetts. I have a diverse background of work, and I've been playing with the prepping for about 30 years.
Oh, playing with it for 30 years. Okay. Yeah. With that, so let me ask you the first question, Dan. What got you into preparedness?
Y2K.
Y2K. Does anybody remember Y2K and the effects that they said it was going to happen, and then what really happened? Yeah. Hudson Valley, mass hole. There you go. Absolutely. Yeah. So Dan, so you say you've been prepping for about 30 years.
Correct.
Let me ask you this before we get into our topic tonight. What is the number one prepping myth that you have heard throughout these 30 years of preparedness and prepping?
That we're all crazy.
And isn't it funny how the conspiracies that we've all been talking about, some of them are actually coming true now. Isn't that how that works? Yeah, exactly. Fallen Skies Homesteading and Preparedness Channel. Welcome in. Good to see you. He said, yes, I remember. Absolutely. So let's dive right into this, Dan. You and I have been talking for a while about, doing something for the new prepper or those that are trying to step up their game. Okay.
Yep.
About prepping and essentials and on a budget, because we all have a budget, which we should. So let's start with essentials. What would you say some of the essentials for prepping should be that we all should have or have access to?
Start with the basics. Water. Whether you have it just normal or you have filtration systems, on and on. Mm-hmm. You need water and ways to make water good.
That's right, folks. All water is not good water. You got to have ways to filter it and purify it. So to make it good, and for those watching, air quotes here, what is the best way or one way, Dan, to make the water good?
Basic, boil it. Then you can go from there to filters and purification. And even that doesn't work. You have the UV.
UV. And expound a little bit on UV. What do you mean by when you say UV?
UV can either use the basic of just the sunlight, and magnify it, or you can use the UV SteriPens, which concentrate UV light into a direct point.
There you go. So you're telling me if I take like a mason jar of water and just put it out in the sun, that will purify it?
6 hours, direct sun.
Six direct sun, folks. You heard it here. 6 hours in the direct sun will purify water. That's awesome. So we all know in the prepping community, food, water, shelter, security, and we could go on and on from there. The three basics: food, water, and shelter. For the new prepper or the average prepper, Dan, what would you say a good amount of water to prep would be?
They use a minimum of a gallon of water per day. I say double.
Okay, so a gallon of water per day per person.
Correct.
And he says double it. So 2 gallons of water per day per person. And folks, keep in mind that's are we talking drinking, cleaning, cooking, or are we just talking drinking, Dan?
Everything and then some.
Exactly. Everything and then some. Yes. Virginia Bushcrafter said 6 hours in direct sun. Super. Thanks. Yeah. So the basics, water. So when it comes to food, and this is where a lot of people, I would say, don't know how, or they get confused about prepping when it comes to food. What would you say, Dan, is a basic rule of thumb when it comes to prepping food?
Start small, plan for a meal at a time.
Start small, plan for a meal at a time. Right. So, and of course, folks, prep what you eat. Don't buy a whole bunch of what you think you may eat, you know. Prep the food that you and your family eat. And with that, how much food should we start prepping, Dan?
Start for a week, work to a month, work for 6 months, work for a year, and then keep going. Don't stop.
Right. A month. And then would you say 6 months?
6 months and then a year.
Then a year. Then do a rinse and repeat. Yeah. Don't stop, folks, because we don't know, necessarily how much food we will need in an SHTF event or in any type of natural disaster or things that you do. Hudson Valley says, eat what you prep what you eat. Absolutely. Sister Marie's Kitchen, Dan says, I go through 2 gallons of water a day just in coffee.
That's good. Coffee's just brown water.
That's it. Coffee is brown water. Right. Jason in VA says, a hungry man will eat just about anything. And that is true. So that's why we prep. So folks, types of foods. Let's touch on that briefly because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, Dan. What types of foods should we prep?
High calorie foods, stuff that's going to last longer in your system.
Right. High calories, folks, because during an SHTF event, if there's no electricity and such, we are going to be using more physical activity to get the things done. So you want to make sure that the food you're prepping and the food you're consuming are high calories, dense in proteins, and things like that will sustain you and get you through. Frank said he started with $5 a paycheck prepping. He was amazed at the end of the year what he had then started the next year with $10. Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about and going to be talking about, Frank. Folks, you don't have to go out and spend a whole paycheck. Start out with an amount that works within your budget and prep with it. You know, this is where, everybody says prep beans and rice. Okay, that's true. But after 6 months of eating beans and rice, what's going to happen, Dan?
Food fatigue. You're not going to stop eating it.
Yeah, food fatigue, and basically, um, you won't eat it. So do a variety, add side dishes, other things that you can mix in with the rice and beans. You pastas do well, vegetables do well. Penny Prepper, good, welcome, good to see you, my brother. Hope you are doing well. Hope you're having a great day today. Thank you for joining us. What other types of foods should we prep, Dan?
Stuff that's going to last a long time.
Long
You might
time.
go with the freeze dried. You might go with dehydrated. You can even go with canned foods for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. And so folks, right, Love and Life says canned meat, rice, pasta, absolutely. Robert Bates says spam and potatoes. Yeah. I don't eat spam, and I never will. I would use spam as a self-defense tool or a bartering tool. Yeah. Happy Max says yes. Seasoning and sauces make a huge difference. That's right. Jason in VA says grow a garden, folks. That should be number 2 on the list. Produce your own food, grow your own fruits and vegetables, no matter where you're at, for sure. Mid GA Preparedness, welcome in. Good to see you. He said, "Each the people who engineered the famine." There you go. So, folks, we start small and build. Like, I think, who was it? Well, I think it was Happy Mac who said he started prepping, saving $5 a week. And that's how you do it. Hudson Valley says, learn how to can and preserve what you grow. Absolutely, folks. Absolutely. I can potatoes. I've canned meats. I can everything, and especially out of the garden. If I can keep the COO and Cole from eating all of the blueberries and blackberries out of the garden, we could can some, but that was been an epic fail this year, and they ate them, all of them, everything. The bushes are clean and bare, no fruit whatsoever, and that's okay. Black Guns and Garden, welcome in, bruh. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Love and Life, Dan says, support local farmers and the Amish. Absolutely, folks. If you're going to either can and preserve fruits and vegetables, if you're not growing them, buy them from your local farmers and the Amish and can them from there. Get to know the local farmers, support the farmers markets in your area. When we do have to go buy vegetables and fruits, we support the local farmers market and the local farmers. Prepper Book Club says there are so many facets of prepping and you can go down a long rabbit hole. Right. Start small and steady, keep learning and keep progressing. That's absolutely right, Prepper Book Club. Folks, do what you can. This is it's not a race, it's a journey. Dan said he's been prepping for 30 years. I started prepping right after Hurricane Katrina. And I got serious right before Charlie 19 happened. When Charlie 19 happened, I kicked it into high gear. Happy Max says pressure canning meat is a huge way to save money. Shop the sales. Absolutely. Folks, when you see the buy one, get one free, especially at the meat counter, take advantage of it. Take advantage of it whatsoever, any way possible, any way you can. What else, Dan? I'm gonna speak less and let you speak more. Say what you like, my friend.
You can't just go straight food. You have to do all aspects of it. You have to get your gear. You have to have
So when you say gear, what type of gear are we talking about?
backpacks, tarps, tents, freedom dispensers, freedom seeds,
Yes.
550 cord, containers for your food, utensils, cooking pots and pans.
That's right.
There's a whole gamut you can get.
Right, exactly, folks. So if the electric goes off, how are you going to cook? For those that have electric stoves, how are you going to cook? You going to fire up the grill? Well, if you fire up the grill and you're cooking food, guess what? You're creating smoke, and that smoke is going into the air, and maybe somebody is smelling that good cooking food that you're cooking. So, have alternative methods where you can cook indoors without the use of your stove. I have a wood burning stove in the basement. I have other means that I can cook indoors as well. But you're right, Dan. These are the things we have to do. Utensils, paper towels, things like that, tarps, the gear that we need. Love and Lifestyle, we started prepping when COVID hit, never gave it a thought before that. Exactly. And that's okay. And now you guys are prepping and learning and putting out content and doing what needs to be done to take care of the family. So let's go down the list here, Dan. You said gear. You talked about tarps and utensils and cooking apparatuses and the things that we use on a day-to-day basis, folks. Those are the things we're going to have to prep for. Medical, and we're not even going to jump in that rabbit hole, other than the fact, for those of you that have to take prescription medication, we say this all the time. Can you get 90 or 180-day prescriptions? Frank says, Vision, I started after Katrina, seeing what the people went through. Exactly. Basically went through Michael here in Florida without a hitch. Only problem I had was my batteries that I had. Right. Exactly. Fallen Skies is saying, even if it's only $5 a paycheck, beans and rice go a long way. Right. Pending that it is something that you actually eat and practice eating what you prep. Absolutely, Regional Sky Girl. Absolutely. J3GS, welcome in. Good to see you, bruh. Good to see you. Right. Hudson Valley said, yes, with Jace Daily, get your meds stocked up. Right, folks. Jace Case, you can get medical prescriptions. You can get the Jace Daily, all of that. And if you want to know more about Jace Case, there's a link in our description. Go check it out. I ain't trying to sell you nothing, but other than the fact that it could help you, absolutely. Canada, welcome in, my brother. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Scotty Too Hottie, welcome in. Good to see you. And thank you for stopping in. We appreciate you. So, Dan, we talk about, calories of food. What should be the worst case scenario average calorie intake that somebody should shoot for if necessary?
They say a normal person eats anywhere from 2,000 calories a day doing normal life.
Yeah.
You might want to double or triple it.
Exactly. So 2,000 calories a day for normal activity. We may have to make that up and do 3,000 calories a day, 2,500. Grateful Preps NJ, good to see you in the house. Thank you for stopping in. So Dan, how do you start a fire?
Many different ways.
And what are some of those many different ways?
Right? You can do steel wool and 9-volt battery. You can use a ferro rod. You can use matches. You can use alcohol. You could use lighter fluid. You can use all kinds of things. Start small and do one thing at a time and master that. And then go and keep going.
Exactly. And to be honest, if I'm not going to use a lighter or matches, I love ferro rods. And that's what I started with, and that's what I practiced to the point where, one strike of the rod and I got fire. And that's where I'm at. I love ferro rods. And Loving Life says Mick Wicks, absolutely. And I'm also a fan of pull start fire. You don't need nothing. You pull it and it starts. Dan H. Really? Just because my camera was being stupid. Thank you for the donation, my brother. I appreciate you as always. And Cole also said thank you for the bone that you donated that he bought. But folks, there's many ways to start a fire. Know how to do it. Like Dan said, practice it, get good at it. Canada says barbecue fluid. Yes, absolutely. Do whatever you like as long as you can create fire. Okay, that's the whole key. Canada said, I don't need to prove anything. I'm lighting a fire with whatever is handy. Absolutely. Same here. If I have a lighter in my pocket, I'm using it. If I got matches somewhere, I'm going to go find them. If I have to use a ferro rod, I'm going to use it. Yeah. Exactly. All right, Hudson Valley. Appreciate you, man. He's on the solo on the live stream. Folks, by the way, if you have not subscribed to Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival, he said he's going to wreck it. Today is Too Soon to Tell Tuesday, which starts at 7:30. So if you haven't subscribed to his channel, please check him out. So Dan, the Virginia Bushcrafter, said know how to start it, but more importantly, know how to maintain it. I'll let you speak to that, Dan.
Well, as Virginia knows from talking to him numerous times, you have to feed the fire all the time. You can't just use little twigs like he tries to do. You have to use big things to keep it going longer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Without a doubt.
You want to feed it with a log at least the size of your fist in width.
Right. And have enough wood that you may have to maintain that fire for 24 hours or more. That's what we may have to do. So be prepared to be able to feed the fire, no matter what you have or what you have to use, as long as it's done safely. Old Mutt says starter fluid, but a little hazardous. It is. You're right, Old Mutt. I agree with you. Yep. Sister Marie's kit. By the way, Old Mutt, good to see you, my friend. This man here's a plethora of information and knowledge, and I truly enjoy any conversation that I get to partake in with Old Mutt. And thank you, Old Mutt, for stopping in and supporting the channel. Sister Marie's Kitchen says, Dan, remember in SHTF, stealth the fire. Any ideas on that, Dan, of how to stealth a fire?
That's why they come up with things like Dakota fire holes, using reflecting walls.
What is a Dakota fire hole, Dan?
You're putting a hole in the ground, at least a foot down, and then you're going to go 6 inches from that and put another hole the same distance. And then you connect the two with a small channel at the base of the holes for airflow.
So what happens when you create a what you call it, Dakota fire pit?
Yep.
Yeah. What happens when that is done, Dan?
You have a recessed area where the fire stays and concentrates everything for heat and dims down the light.
Exactly. And if I'm not mistaken, it also cuts down on smoke in the atmosphere. Am I right?
Yes, because it has to go through the edges of the ground first.
Exactly. And folks, in the SHTF, you really don't want smoke going up into the air for everybody on the planet to see. That's for sure. You definitely don't want to do that. So you want to make sure, as Constitutional Carpenter says, Dakota fire hose is the way to go for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt. That is stealth fire at its best, in my opinion. So what else, Dan? Now that we've talked about fire, what are some other essentials that we should all take into account?
Have a good blade.
Blade, as in vampire hunter, or are we talking about knives?
Knives.
Knives, exactly. Wolfang, welcome in. Good to see you, sir. Hope you had a great day. Hope you're doing well. By the way, if one of my mods are in the chat, could you find Old Mutt's channel and drop a link to it? I'll see if I can find it in the process. Dan, what type of blade should the average person, prep or have on hand to use?
I'm going to say you need 2 minimum. You're going to have a folding blade that's going to be on your body at all times, and you're going to have a fixed blade, at least 6 inches in size for projects.
And what types of projects would we use a knife for?
Making your firewood into kindling and smaller stuff, working with ropes, working with food, working with game.
Yeah, folks, these are basics, and that's what we're talking about. We don't want to make it complicated. Basic stuff, knives. Have a couple, and Dan said a couple of knives that will allow you to have multiple things just in case. What if one of them breaks or goes dull and you need it for whatever? This is one of the things that I have that I keep. This is one of 2. This happens. Does anybody know what this is?
Silky Pocket Boy.
Correct. This is a Silky Pocket Boy. This is the small one. This is a nice blade, a saw that will work on many things, especially when, if you're cutting tree branches, small logs, small limbs. As Virginia Bushcrafter says, a saw for precision cutting. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, Vision, you also want to back that up too with another option, such as a pocket chainsaw.
Pocket chainsaw. There you go, folks. Yes.
Do not get the wire saws. They will break after 2 or 3 minutes of sawing. They're a gimmick put out for people that don't know.
Right. And for those, Virginia Bushcrafter is one of the guys that I would lean to talk about knives in specific, other than, I have a pocket knife that I always have on me. And, I have Silky Pocket Boys and saws and other things, and I have chainsaws. But folks, keep in mind, chainsaws are loud and noisy, and they require gasoline. So if you're going to have chainsaws, you got to prep for chainsaws and all of the accessories, the chain lube, the oil, the gasoline, and it's not going to be too stealthy in a grid down situation. But these are some of the things that we need to keep in mind that are necessary, the small things. What else, Dan?
Protection.
Ooh, security, protection, seed dispensers and seeds. I saw Love and Life sit here talk about either a shotgun or pistol for defense. How about both? If keep this and remember this, folks. If you have things at home, especially a garden and all your preps and everything else, you are going to have to be prepared to defend them and guard and take care of not only your property and your family, but everything else you have. and that requires some type of seed dispenser to do so. Right, Dan?
Correct. And let me
Yeah.
expand on it.
Go
Your
right ahead.
pistol is on your body at all times. Beyond that, the pistol is designed to get you to your rifle or your shotgun. Pistol is a close quarters weapon. Just like a pocket knife is supposed to be on your body at all times, that is also a close quarters weapon.
Exactly. And that's the key, folks. Right. A pistol on your hip is to get you to your rifle or shotgun. Absolutely. J3GS said the chainsaw blade can also be used. There you go. Hey, Mad Max, Jason, what Jason, not Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers. Yeah, chainsaws do work. Virginia Bushcrafter says, Roger that, Dan. Yeah. Yeah. So what, like you said, Dan, you said pistols are good for close quarters. So that allows us to do what, Dan?
You're keeping them from getting their hands on you.
Yes. Because if they get their hands on you, now you are in hand-to-hand combat mode.
Or on the ground on your back.
There you go.
You don't want to be.
Yes. Canada said, yep, you want something that can shoot the pimple off a fly's rear end at 100 yards. Yes. Yaya Kot, welcome in. Good to see you. So what else, Dan, could people use that are, just starting out prepping or upping their preps? What could they use for self-defense other than a pistol or a shotgun?
You can break it down old school like Mad Shad. Get an axe.
Yeah.
Get a spear. Get a bow staff. A baseball bat. Go Negan on their ass.
There you go. Right. Before there were such things as a rifle or a pistol, there were axes and spears, and they toppled many of empires. Get a bow and arrow. Get a bow gun. Do whatever you need. Crossbow. What else? You see your boy here, Dan. I don't know if you can see this comment from African Dreaming. He said, Dan
African Dreaming doesn't know anything. He fell off his rocking chair last week and still recovering from it.
Right. So now that we're there with the security, what else, Dan, should the new prepper or beginning prepper begin to think?
Some kind of shelter. You're going to need
you mean away from the home or at home? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
A tarp or a tent or whatever else, just in case you have to do something away from home or have to leave home.
Right, folks. If you have to leave home, you're leaving your primary residence of shelter. You have to have alternative shelter because in the prepping community, you can do what? Without shelter for how many hours?
3
hours, especially in inclement weather, you could end your life. Don't want to do that. So you want to have a tarp, some type of tent, even if you have an emergency tent that's made out of mylar or emergency blanket material so that it reflects back 90% of the body heat in inclement weather, you got to have it, folks.
With that, there's also different types of mylar too. So you have to make sure you're not getting the cheap one that's thrown in every kit because you can just rip that by unfolding it. You want the heavy duty mylar blankets that actually have the ripstop threads across the middle of it.
Correct. Look for the mylar blankets or tents with the ripstop built into it. Absolutely, Dan. Absolutely. How about a good pair of leather gloves, folks? Or actually a couple pair of gloves. Dan, what's your thought on gloves?
You want a heavy duty pair of leather gloves with extra leather on the palms for doing work around a fire. Then you want a second pair of gloves with at least the finger and the index finger and thumb cut off, so you can do delicate work or manipulate a weapon easier.
Exactly. And I even have a pair of fingerless gloves that have the reinforced knuckles on them.
Yep,
So, folks, yeah, those are some things you may want to look at. The Virginia Bushcrafter says gloves are needed to protect your hands in every aspect. You're absolutely right, Virginia Bushcrafter. You're absolutely right. Clothes, folks. Let's talk about clothes. Boots. What type of boots would you recommend, Dan?
You're going to want leather boots with a heavy sole that you're not going to step on a twig and have it go through the bottom of it and cause yourself injuries.
Yeah, because there's nothing like having bad dogs, and I'm talking about your feet, because if your feet are hurt, you're not going to fare well. Love and Life says have contractor bags as well. What can we do with contractor bags, Dan?
You can carry your gear. You can use it as a makeshift shelter. You can fill it with debris and make yourself a mattress. You could use it as a water collector. You could use it to drag another person around if they're hurt. All kinds of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And folks, some of you in the chat, this may be elementary to you, but we've had a lot of subscribers to the channel that are just starting prepping or beginning to pick up their preps. So Dan was like, dude, we got to do something for the new people to the community. So that's what this is all about. Frank says people learn to rat knife fight for close quarter combat. He said he took it in the service. And if you want to expound on that, Dan, go right ahead.
What the stuff they teach you in the service is designed for people that don't know anything as a defensive art. When you're going at someone that really knows what they're doing, it's all about defense and keeping yourself at distance.
Exactly. Distance is your friend, folks, especially if you have to get to your pistol and somebody's right up on you. You need to get them off of you so you can step back and be able to have time to draw your weapon and look down the barrel.
The key aspect of it is you want one arm's distance at all times from somebody.
Yes, absolutely. Love and Life said, we're always learning something new from your channels. We appreciate it so much. You're more than welcome, Love and Life. And that's the goal. I even learn every live stream I do. I learn from you folks in the chat, from my subscribers, tons of emails, tons of comments. I appreciate all of you. And Dan is, you guys just don't know the conversations that Dan and I have had at the bug out weekend, after the bug out weekend, and continue. He brings up stuff to me that I would have never even thought about. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Let me give you another tidbit of knowledge.
Go right ahead.
Your favorite friend is Eli, correct?
Correct.
Eli is a small capacity shotgun.
Yes.
You can expand that without altering the weapon at all by picking up something called mini shells. They're half the size of a normal shell. Now you're able to get an extra 1 or 2 shells inside that weapon.
You're absolutely right. And just one of my guys, and I think he's in the chat, not sure, Mad Shad, gave me a whole bunch of mini 12-gauge shells. I was like, thank you, bro. I appreciate you. Rooted in Essential Oil says, I'm new and learning a lot, so thank you. Some of the terms I don't understand, but for the most part, I'm learning. Rooted in Essentials, you are more than welcome, and you can ask any questions at any time that you want. And folks, by the way, if you have not participated in the poll, please do so, because I'm going to close the poll in about 2 minutes. It's at the top of the chat, and we'll go from there. And you're right, Dan. Many shells will give you an extra 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever type of weapon you have to be able to load into your weapon. Scotty Too Hottie said, I'm in law enforcement, so I have training through them. Also learned a lot from my dad, who was in the Army. Absolutely right. Old Mutt says, like in prison, almost anything is a weapon. You're absolutely right, Old Mutt. You can take anything. You can take a fork and file it down into a knife, and it will work well. Rip Curl Readiness, welcome in, my brother. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good to see you. Paper Buttons, welcome in. Welcome in. The Virginia Bushcrafter says, remember, must get an adapter for the Mossberg to dispense mini shells. You're absolutely right, Virginia Bushcrafter. And I'm on my way to go pick one of those up. Most definitely. What else, Dan?
A good backpack.
Why would I need a backpack, Dan? I can throw everything I need in my car or truck.
What if your car don't work? What if you have to walk away from your car?
Exactly.
You're going to carry everything in your hands? You look like
No,
real
sir.
cheap yard sale real quick if you trip.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Tracy K said, I'm heading to the Everglades area next week for 2 weeks. Gators, crocodiles, snakes, bears, big cats. There you go. So a backpack. What type of backpack should somebody look for, Dan?
You want at least 30-liter backpack with 2 backpack straps, a sternum strap, and a waist belt.
There you go, folks. Waist belt, sternum strap, all that what Dan just said. A 30-liter backpack, if possible. That's the thing. And packing that backpack may sound easy, but there's an art to packing anything. So be mindful of what you're packing in your backpack and not just throwing a bunch of stuff in it. Right, Dan?
No, you want to set it the right way so your load works with your body, not against you. Because if you have it packed in a offset manner, such as putting all the heavy stuff at the bottom or all the heavy stuff at the far back of the pack, you're going to throw off your stride and you're going to get sores on your back.
There you go. So there is an art to packing a backpack. And folks, you need to understand to distribute the weight evenly, because if you're walking, like Dan said, it won't hurt your back with that. What else, Dan?
Good sleeping bag or wool blankets.
Wool blankets, folks. As many of you know, I talked about my new get home bag that I keep in my truck. With the new backpack I have a wool blanket rolled up and inside of that backpack with all my other gear. And I think I'm either going to do a video or live and just talk about what's in it and what it does. By the way, folks, I just ended the poll. It says, do you think you're prepared? 54% said no. 45% said yes. There you go. Bayou Sugar Garden, good to see you. Hope you're having a great evening, and thank you for stopping in. We appreciate you. So what else, Dan? So now we got our backpack, we got our food, we got our water, we got our security. What else do we need to begin our road of preparedness for the new or the beginning prepper?
How about some clothes for the outdoors?
Oh, but I'm okay. I got on 2 shirts, a pair of jeans, and some sneakers, and a hat.
What about it when it rains or snows on you? How long is that clothes going to last?
Good point. So, folks, extra clothes, extra change of clothes. What should I be putting in my pack or being ready to do what I do, Dan?
Start simple. You could do a poncho.
Okay.
You can do gaiters for your top of your boots to keep wetness off your calves. You can do set rain pants. You can do a rain jacket. You can do a whole Gore-Tex outfit.
There you go, folks. You got to have rain gear. You got to have the gear to keep yourself dry, especially if you're out in the elements. Have a change of clothes, especially in the winter. Good pair of boots. Put an extra pair of pants, jeans, whatever it is you wear. A jacket, a poncho, a hoodie, whatever. But just make sure you're prepared for the elements in which you live in.
Wool undergarments.
Wool undergarments. Wool socks.
Wool socks. Wool long johns, top and bottom. Wool beanie.
There you go. Exactly. You know, the Virginia Bushcrafter says exercise, get in shape, improve your eating habits. Just start walking, folks. You ain't got to hit the gym and try to bench press 400 pounds. Just start walking and walk regularly. Big Rooster Show. Good to see you, my brother. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for stopping in. You know, I appreciate it. J3GS Farm says, if I was 100 pounds lighter, I would be 100% ready. Well, start down that road, J3. Start walking. Take out the misses, take the grands, take the pups, the dogs, and just start walking on a regular basis. Scotty Too Hottie says he has a typhoon raincoat that goes down to his ankles.
There you go.
Yeah.
You can expand on that also. Get yourself a set of sealskin socks. Keep your feet dry, even if your boots don't keep it dry.
Right. If the boots don't stay dry, have socks that'll keep your feet dry. Grateful Preps NJ says he rucks in his community. His EDC is 15 pounds, walking the streets of NYC. There you go, Grateful Preps. Exactly. And do it regularly. Get in shape, folks. Be prepared to carry the load in your pack if you have to leave your house. You know, that's what we have to do. What else, Dan? We got about 2 or 3 minutes left. And folks, I will say this. We haven't even begun to scratch the surface. So if Dan will agree, we may make a panel discussion and bring this back and have a part 2.
I'm good with that.
Okay. If those of you in the chat would like to see a part 2, put a 2 in the chat and we'll put together a panel and talk more about beginning preppers and things to prep for. A resilient dad says, much love from the Bay with respect. Part 2, please. I know that's right. And everybody is putting in 2s in the chat. Yes. And so Dan, we're going to put together a panel and we're going to put together probably 4 to 5, maybe even 6 people to get 6 different perspectives. Wolfgang says, if you shot right-handed, learn how to shoot left-handed. What do you think of that, Dan?
Correct. What if you get hurt in your strong side? You have to learn how to use everything weak-sided and also learn how to manipulate your weapon with your other hand too. Loading, unloading, clearing jams, everything.
Yes.
And learn how to do everything one-handed also, because if something does happen, you can still survive and continue the fight.
Absolutely, folks. These are the small things, the things that we may not be thinking about, but we definitely will do a part 2. And Dan, I want to say thank you, my brother, for, Dan actually prompted this months ago. He said, dude, You got a lot of new subscribers on your channel, and to the prepping community, he said we got to do something for them. And you know, Dan, I appreciate you. And you know, this Dan, if y'all don't know, Dan is my evil twin. And we hit it off from the first time we met, and the COO loves Dan, and she just shakes her head and laughs. And you know, that's what it's all about. And so, Dan, I'm gonna let you give some closing words before we get out of here. And we will, folks, put together a part 2, and we're gonna come up with a whole lot more input from a panel discussion wise, and get deeper into prepping on a budget and essentials. So with that, Dan, go right ahead, my friend.
That's it right there. Set yourself a budget you can survive on. If you have to cut out a cup of coffee a week, if you cut out a cup of coffee a day, whatever money that will give you extra, use that and put it to stuff to keep you going. Start small. If you can only afford a $20 backpack now, keep saving your money and get yourself the backpack you really want 3 months down the road when you have the money for it. You just need to start now and have your stuff ready so you don't need to get ready when something happens.
Absolutely. CM, welcome in. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for stopping in. She says, ladies need to learn how to shoot well. Don't be embarrassed. That ability may save lives someday. You're absolutely right, CM. You are absolutely right. Frank says, I'm old school military. Underneath my old Alice pack, I got my Roger roll. There you go. And folks, you heard Dan. Dan said, you know, budget, folks. It's all about budgeting, and start slow. This is a journey, not a race. With that, I want to thank Dan. Thank you, Dan. If you'll hang on just a moment, and we'll close this out. And just in case, folks, those of you that came in and you didn't get to see the special as it started, we're going to close out with the same thing we started with. Remember this, folks. Keep prepping, because your family depends on you, and it depends on your life. God bless everybody. Thank you for stopping in. This is Vision Preparedness, and we will see you in the next video. The time is now. The time is now. The time is now. I'm Trent, and this is Vision Preparedness. The time is now. The time is now.